got a lot of love for Nintendo's most doomed console, and even though there are tons of great games, some bad ones were bound to slip through the cracks. I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games, and today we're gonna look at WiiU games that nobody wants to play.
Second Opinion Games.
Starting things off with a little Zumba fitness world party. Yes, that's why people play video games, to get up and move around. Now this also came with a little strap-on device that lets you put your Wiimote around your waist. So as you flail around, just that single Wiimote is supposed to determine how good you are at dancing? Well, it doesn't do any of that, because during the entire time that you're watching the gameplay of this, I am literally just flailing my arms around like a wild animal, and somehow I am acing every single one of these. Also, the better you do, the higher chance you are to have a full-on seizure, because there's going to be strobe lighting effects and backup dancers, and this gets pretty freaking hilarious if it wasn't so just nauseating. Yeah, this is definitely one that I probably should have left in the bargain bin. But if that didn't make you feel awkward enough, then try out Disney Dance Party Part 2. Because Disney probably used up all of their best songs on the first one, this one has no good songs at all. Also, whoever decided to dress the humans up in this video just were the worst people imaginable, because everyone is dressed like super douchebags. Also, those controls really don't matter here, because again, I flail my arms all over the place with absolutely no rhythm, and even when the character on screen is completely stopped, I'm completely acing these moves, because this just doesn't actually matter or count as a game. I'm pretty sure I can just take the batteries out of the Wiimote and it will have the exact same effect. Also, it's kind of funny how Disney has a song in here teaching you how to be evil, because I'm pretty sure that they're the experts in that category. And speaking of evil, check out ESPN Sports Connection. Do you want to play a game of Wii Sports Tennis only with slightly worse graphics and controls? Well, you got it here. And honestly, this is one of the best parts about this game. Also, there's some go-karts, which also happens to be the very best game of this entire lineup. And even though the frame rates are a little bit chunky, this is moderately fun for about 30 seconds before you quickly be bored of it. Also, there's a football game that's nearly impossible. However, when you're playing defense, you can control how your players move with the little touchscreen, making you get quarterback sacks non-stop, which is satisfying until you realize that you're playing this really crappy game. And there's some other things here too, like golf, which is just also unplayable. Matter of fact, from start to finish, almost every single thing about this game is completely awful, or at least done better someplace else. Moving on to Game Party Champions, where it's just a collection of really badly controlled mini-games with a full-fledged storyline where your best friend just tries to get you out of the house to do something with your life and stop being so lazy, which means the whole premise here is to get you to stop playing video games in your house and get you to do something else. So once this sets in, why would you still be playing this game? Also, all the character models here are awful, and your main character here is just really bad looking. Who would have thought this kid would be good at ping pong anyway? There is one good game here. It's a gallery shooter style where you just shoot people with water guns, and it's kind of fun, but honestly, it can be done a lot better other places, like the original Wii with some of those awesome light gun games there. Also, you don't control it with the Wiimote. You have to use the huge tablet brick thing to use as a light gun, and that's kind of awkward. You think with Party in the name, it would have been a little more multiplayer focused, with a little more emphasis on the party. The Crudes Prehistoric Party definitely brings the multiplayer, but it definitely doesn't bring the fun. It puts the board in board game, as you sit for sometimes up to 3 minutes just waiting for a minigame or your turn to even start. Also, there's some pretty bad load times here. The graphics are just awful, and this is one of the more expensive Wii U titles, because this was very late in the console's life and it had a very low production run, which makes it even worse when you actually sit down to play this piece of garbage, because that's exactly what it is. A total waste of your time, your life, and your money, because this is just, there's no redeeming qualities to this whatsoever. But if you wanted more movie-based games, check out the Penguins of Madagascar. And boy, did they ever get lazy with this one, because when the Penguins talk, they somehow got none of the voice actors to do the voices whatsoever. And as I was playing this game, I realized that I already have the same game on the original Wii. They absolutely did nothing to improve or change it or even make the graphics the slightest bit better in any possible way. This is the same game as the Wii version, only a little bit more expensive. So this is just awful. Why would they possibly do this? Matter of fact, I think it actually controlled better on the original Wii. There is a little bit of personality to some of these penguins, but for the most part, the controls are bad and it's just an awful game. But surely the fighting game category is completely unblemished. Well, Kung Fu Panda Showdown of Legendary Legends has an interesting premise, taking all of your beloved characters from the Kung Fu Panda series, putting them in a giant tournament and making them fight to the death. Sounds like a really good idea, and the music is also terrific here, but this is just a Smash Brothers clone for the same price as Smash Brothers itself. On top of it, the characters are not balanced whatsoever, if they were even controllable, because they really aren't. Somehow they managed to completely strip every ounce of fun out of the Smash Brothers games and make this awful experience. But now we're ready for something a little less violent, like Monster High, the new goal in school. And you better really like those monster puns, because they're going to be thrown at you every 5 minutes when playing this game. You start off by dressing your monster girl in the trashiest possible outfit imaginable, and then giving her a name that's very much suiting for her character. Then you run around the school continuously on a fetch quest, talking to people. Hey, at least they got all the good voice acting right from the show, assuming that this is a show, at least until you get 20 minutes into the game where everyone suddenly stops talking and it's text only. Also, about a half hour into the game, you get a fetch quest that seems to be broken, because I cannot figure out what to do from here, and I am a seasoned gamer, and this is presumably meant for little girls to play. Overall, this is a complete waste of money and your life. But if you want to do something a little bit more noble with your time, then check out Barbie and her sister's Puppy Rescue, where Barbie is just a glorified dog catcher trying to save only puppies. She will lure them in with her love, only then to throw them in a kennel, locking them away. Also, she will fish them out of the sewer sometimes, and then they will immediately lick Barbie's face. One of the funnier things about this game is that the girl that does the voice for Barbie also sometimes does the heavy breathing for the dogs, making it just awkward and hilarious. You could also train the dogs to do fun stuff and even give them names and give them oral suppositories and even real enemas to cure them of tapeworms. Presumably, I just figured I didn't unlock that part yet. This is really dumbed down gameplay and gets repetitive like almost immediately. After about 10 minutes, this is everything you could possibly see in the game, and it's really just sad how they tried to market this for little girls, assuming that they won't even know any better. Another game that's presumably marketed towards humans is Adventure Time Finn and Jake Investigations, where they take the moderately liked TV show and turn it into a 3D open world investigation point-and-click-ish game with a little bit of battle elements that aren't really well fleshed out. Also, all the voice acting is done here for better or worse, most of the time for worse, because all the characters, for the most part, sound pretty awful, but not nearly as awful as the overall gameplay. Even moving through the mysteries, you completely see where the storyline's going from the very start of every single mystery here, and the overall game mechanics just don't fit very well at all. This is, again, another bad game. So maybe now we're done with these retail bad games, and the games on the eShop might not fare quite better. Space Intervention is just a Space Invaders game, only the Space Invaders never move down to attack you. It's only the one level that just repeats over and over until you die because you only have one life in this game, and there's no music whatsoever. This is really boring. Luckily, it was only $1. What wasn't $1 was Wicked Monster Blast, where I picked this panda with a sword because I want to slice up some monsters, and no, it's just a collection of tapping mini games that is guaranteed to destroy your Wii U tablet with all of the frantic tapping that you're going to do with your stylus on the tablet itself, causing it to not work anymore. The people that made this game were true monsters, and if I want to see true monsters, then I'm going to turn to my next game. Jumping back to the full retail games, because the downloadable ones, you really don't need them if you're a collector, and also you can judge if they're bad or not just by how many stars they get on the eShop channel itself. So Wheel of Fortune is one that collectors have to pick up if they want to have a complete Wii U collection, and oh my god, it's Pat Sajak and Vanna White. They're probably both evil because I assume they had to make a deal with the devil to stay young forever. I decided to choose my bald guy as my character because all bald guys look alike, and I'm playing Wheel of Fortune. And sitting there for sometimes up to 5 minutes at a time, doing absolutely nothing at all. Also, this is on easy, and I still have a really hard time figuring out what I'm actually doing. I know it's Wheel of Fortune, and you just sort of guess letters and stuff, but I'm not really good with the whole letters thing. This is probably one of the worst game show games I've ever played, but it's still one of the better Wheel of Fortune ones. Let's stay on this evil thing a little bit longer, and Disney was the king of it, so Disney Mickey's Power of Two also came out for the original Wii, which is where the game was developed for. It didn't sell real well, so they thought, we'll just port it over to the Wii U, but strip away the Wiimote and nunchuck controls. Sounds like a great idea because everyone hates motion controls, only the game actually worked using the pointer function. It doesn't work nearly as well with the Wii U tablet. And because the game itself was optimized for the original Wii, it means it doesn't play nearly as good either. So this is just a trash title. Honestly, get it for the original Wii, it was quite good there. But if you thought that was Disney's biggest cash grab, well, it has nothing on our final game, the Disney Infinite series, where you're forced to buy these little toys that are fragile as all heck. Seriously, they break, especially the Star Wars ones with the lightsabers that have really thin plastic. After about 2 seconds, they're just gonna fall apart. Even if you're just throwing them in a box to pack them up, the next time you pull them out, they will be completely broken. Now, the graphics here look good, and when you jump into the gameplay, it feels really great from the start, and that's how it kind of gets you hooked. After that, the gameplay becomes super repetitive, and the costumes here with the different amiibos, even though they're not really amiibos because you have to have that stupid little station plugged in, which means you also have to sit pretty darn close to your console to play this game, and then all the characters essentially play almost exactly the same in the different huge worlds here. Also, there's not a whole lot going on with a big storyline. You're supposed to create your own environments. I'm playing video games to get something more from using my own imagination here, guys. I could just build Legos at home if I really wanted to, and I don't have to buy these stupid figurines, which cost a fortune, and then even after you buy a set and you put them all on, you're kind of dissatisfied and you think, well, maybe I'll just buy a couple more, and then a couple more after that, and then your kids want you to buy a couple more. Before you know it, you spend about $300 on this game and completely hate it because it's really not that fun, even if it does give you the illusion that you're having fun. And that's why this is the #1 game, or series of games, that you don't want to play for your Wii U. But of course, that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching.
Nice is that you can never have too many friends, and I've got a couple of people in mind for you to meet. Oh, come on, it'll be a real blast. You guys will get along like a house on fire, in a good way.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Believe it or not, I had a pretty good time making it, even if I was just making fun of the games as I go through. Sometimes it's kind of nice to play bad games. It gives you a better feeling of what good games actually are and how difficult it is to make them. So I want to know, what's your favorite bad game for the Wii U, or maybe your just favorite bad game in general? Let me know in the comment box down below, and until later, I will see you again, guys.